The lighthouse that turns people inside out, full horror story, told in first person. Chapter 1. The Letter. I was never supposed to return to Cape Alwyn, not after what happened to my brother, not after the way the town looked at me, not after the screaming that still rang in my ears whenever I closed my eyes. But the letter was in my mailbox, aged and water-stained, with my name written in shaky cursive. No return address, no stamp, just, "You need to come back. They're turning again. It's happening at the Lighthouse. M." The M could only be Martha, the last friend I had in that godforsaken town. I hadn't heard from her in years, and the fact that she reached out now, it meant something was very, very wrong. The thing is, you don't just get a letter like that and ignore it. Even if it means facing the thing that lives in the fog. Even if it means confronting what happened to Lucas. Chapter 2. Return to Cape Alwyn. Cape Alwyn is a dying fishing town on the northeastern coast, where gulls circle like vultures and the sea smells of rot. Half the houses are empty, the other half look like they should be. But as I stepped off the bus, something was different. It was too quiet. The wind didn't howl. The sea didn't churn. The air didn't move. It was like the entire town was holding its breath. The lighthouse loomed on the horizon, pale against the stormy sky. Even from here I could see its light spinning, but it wasn't white. It was red. Blood red. Just like the night it happened. Chapter 3. The Warning. Martha met me at the old diner, her face sunken, eyes darting to every shadow. She looked older than she should, like something had drained the color from her world. "You shouldn't have come," she whispered. "You told me to." "I didn't write that letter," she said, her hands trembling around her coffee cup. I wanted to, but I was too scared. Someone else wants you here." "Who?" She looked toward the lighthouse. "Whatever's inside." Chapter 4. The First Transformation. We heard it that night, a low, wet, tearing sound echoing across the water. Then a scream, high-pitched, unnatural, and followed by silence. I ran outside, following the sound toward the docks. That's where I found Tommy Leeds, the fisherman's boy, or what was left of him. He was still alive, twitching, gurgling through a mouth that was now where his stomach used to be. His insides had folded outward, bones scraping against muscle, lungs heaving in open air. His eyes blinked from under his ribs. He tried to speak, but all that came out was blood. Martha pulled me back. "The light," she said, pointing toward the lighthouse. "It did this." I looked. The beam swept across the town. Wherever it touched, things shifted. Birds dropped from the sky mid-flight. Flowers curled inward. Walls bled. "What the hell is it?" I asked. She shook her head. "Something ancient. Something hungry." Chapter 5. The Keeper. We had to know more. The lighthouse had a keeper, always had. Someone had to maintain the light, clean the lens, win the mechanism. But no one had seen the keeper in months. "They say he never leaves," Martha whispered as we crept up the cliffs. "The last one went mad, threw himself into the sea." We reached the edge of the rocky bluff, the lighthouse rising above us like a bone-white monolith. The door was slightly ajar, the frame scorched around the edges. Inside, it smelled like copper and seaweed and something fouler. We climbed the spiral steps, our flashlights flickering. Halfway up, we found what was left of the keeper, or keepers. There were dozens of uniforms all layered over each other. Flesh beneath them fused, stitched, overlapping, like multiple people had been folded into one grotesque form. Dozens of boots, all pointing outward. Dozens of faces, all staring with lifeless eyes from the folds of skin. A single mouth opened in the center of the mass. It whispered hoarse and wet. "It shines for what's beneath. It shines to feed it." Chapter 6. The Light from Below. We ran, not out of fear, though fear lived in every heartbeat. We ran because we heard it, a deep, pulsing sound rising from the base of the lighthouse, a thrum like a heartbeat, steady and vast. We followed it downward. There was a hatch under the base of the tower, rusted, chained shut, but it had been broken recently. The metal bent outward. Something had escaped. Below the lighthouse, a spiral staircase carved directly into the rock descended into the earth. The walls grew slick. The air turned hot and wet, like breath on our necks. The heartbeat grew louder. At the bottom was a cavern, black as pitch, except for the red glow emanating from a pit at its center. We crept forward. In that pit was the light source. Not a bulb, not flame. It was a living thing. A pulsing mass of red like a heart made of glass and blood, veins snaking outward like roots. It throbbed with every spin of the lighthouse above, and around it, bodies, folded, turned, inverted, still alive. Martha began to scream. Chapter 7. Whispers in the Flesh. Martha's scream echoed against the wet rock, swallowed almost immediately by the rhythmic thumping of the pulsing heart. I grabbed her, pulling her back from the edge of the pit, but her eyes were locked on the horror below. The bodies moved. Some of them twitched. Others writhed slowly like worms in salt. Their eyes blinked, mouths opened and closed, but no sound came out. Instead, whispers filled the cavern. They weren't coming from the mouths. They were in our heads. It watches through us. It feeds on the scene. Turn back or turn inward. I felt a pressure behind my eyes, like something was trying to push its way out. I stumbled back, the cavern spinning around me. Martha grabbed my arm, her face pale and slick with sweat. "We have to get out," she said. "Now." But behind us, the tunnel was gone. Where the stairs had been, the rock had shifted. The path had sealed behind us. We were trapped. Chapter 8. The turning time broke after that. We wandered in circles through the underground halls that shouldn't have existed. Caverns stretched where they hadn't been minutes before. Walls throbbed with faint light. We saw things, our own shadows moving without us. Memories playing out in the distance. Martha saw her childhood dog still alive. I saw my father, who died when I was 13, sitting silently in a rocking chair deep in the dark. None of it was real. We were being peeled. Every corner we turned, it felt like another layer of who we were was being stripped away. Not physically, mentally, emotionally, as if the lighthouse or what lay beneath it was dissecting us slowly, understanding us, preparing us. We found a room of mirrors, but the reflections weren't us. They were versions of us, with no eyes or mouths on our foreheads or torsos twisted backwards. One of the reflections reached out from the glass and touched Martha's hand. Her skin turned translucent where it touched. She didn't scream this time. She just whispered, "It's learning." Chapter 9. The ritual in the center of the lowest chamber. We found the altar. It was ancient. Stone slick with blood and time. Around it, symbols that pulsed with faint red light, etched into the walls, floors, and even the ceiling. Symbols that looked alive. Martha stepped forward as if pulled. "Martha," I called. "Stop!" But she didn't. Her body moved without her consent. Her eyes rolled back. She mouthed words in a language I couldn't understand and couldn't forget. "Hulvaresk, unmoor the light, unturn the watcher." The heart in the pit responded. It screamed, not a sound but a vibration that shattered my thoughts. My nose bled. My ears rang. The red glow turned white hot. And in the walls, the folded ones began to sing. Chapter 10. Inverted. It was too late. The ground split beneath us. A spire of flesh and light rose from the pit. It had no form, just endless layers of inside-out muscle, teeth where teeth shouldn't be, and a single massive eye, spinning like a lighthouse lens. It saw me. I felt my body convulse. My bones shifted. My hands bent the wrong way. I screamed until my throat tore, but no sound came. Martha was levitating, her body limp, suspended in the beam of the eye. Then it stopped. Everything. Silence. Darkness. I woke up on the beach. Chapter 11, Afterlight. It's been months. No one believes me. The lighthouse is gone, not destroyed, just not there anymore. The cliffs are empty. The town refuses to speak of it. Martha never came back. Sometimes I see her in reflections. Not her now, but what she became. The mirror shifts when I pass by. Lights flicker in a rhythm that matches a heartbeat. And every night at exactly 3:13 a.m. I hear the sound. The turning. The lighthouse, wherever it is now, is still shining. Still searching. Still feeding. And it remembers me.